This is not what I want to be hearing from the president who is currently handling a delicate situation. Our president is striking other countries and going live on the air and calling Democrats dumb, stupid, and reckless. He's having an unhinged meltdown and he wants us to trust him with our lives. I'm sorry, but I do not. Both Donald Trump and JD Vance have issued separate responses to the Venezuelan regime change that was initiated by the United States in the middle of the night while most citizens were sleeping. Nicolas Maduro and his wife are both headed to New York in the United States to face charges in the Southern District of New York related to drug trafficking. I'm personally of the opinion deep down that Trump doesn't actually care about drug trafficking despite what he says, because we know that he's pardoned multiple notorious drug traffickers like the cocaine kingpin who ruled Honduras. Trump said that he planned to pardon the former Honduran leader, and on December 2nd, he officially did. So as Republicans claim that Trump is really just trying to fight a war on drugs, that's false. Republicans get into power and do basically the same thing every time. They cut taxes for the rich, they cut benefits for the most vulnerable, and then they go to war over oil or regime change or something of the sort. As much as Donald Trump tries to act like he's different than Bush, which he is in many ways, he's more fascistic, he really has the same core tenets. Let the rich get richer, let the poor get poorer, and let's maybe go to war for oil. But I digress. Let's break down what JD Vance is saying. Let's break down what Donald Trump is saying. And I just want to zoom out and start with this post from Caroline Levitt on January 2nd. This was literally 24 hours ago. Caroline Levitt says, Trump's New Year's resolution, peace on earth. Well, it's hard to have peace on earth when you are enacting destabilizing regime change. And don't get me wrong, Maduro was an awful dictatorial leader. Maduro caused homelessness, poverty, starvation, corruption. Maduro was not well liked by the people of Venezuela, but it is in no way, shape, or form the job of the United States to play world police and enact regime change in an illegal way. Trump decided to subvert Congress and basically start a war unilaterally by himself, which is illegal in and of itself, and then international law was violated with this capture, and then, to make it all worse, the Trump admin doesn't seem to have a follow-up plan beyond this. But to continue, analysts are pointing out that this could lead to a lot of further destabilization in Venezuela. Now, the people in Venezuela were cheering and were happy throughout the morning, which is great. I'm genuinely happy, and I'm rooting for the people of Venezuela. It's great that Maduro is no longer in power, but oftentimes, regime change can lead to greater destabilization if you don't have a steady hand. And Donald Trump is definitely not a steady hand. I don't trust him to find a steady hand either, although it has been a possibility for months. What happened today has come as a shock to Venezuelans. For the opposition to Nicolas Maduro's government, this is a moment many have been waiting for years. It is an opposition that has tried everything, from boycotting the 2018 elections, which it considered fraudulent, to taking part in electoral processes despite the risks, and mobilizing massively in the streets when the National Electoral Council announced results favorable to Maduro without presenting any evidence. From Venezuela, some messages of support for the U.S. attacks are reaching me, he says. Some opposition supporters saw them as a last resort, a final hope to put an end to a government that much of the international community describes as dictatorial and whose leader has been accused by Washington and other Latin American governments of heading a drug trafficking network. Meanwhile, among Maduro's supporters, questions are growing. Whispered quietly and echoed on social media. Where is the president and who is in power? Many share the fear that the attack and Maduro's announced departure could trigger an even greater destabilization in a country already battered by years of political, economic, and social crises. Let's go check out Donald Trump's response on Fox and Friends this morning. To be honest, every time Trump talks about this, it makes me less and less confident in this administration's ability to, number one, carry this out in a sustainable way, but number two, even represent the best interests of the United States throughout the way. I don't even know. This administration is so bad at explaining what their end goal is. It seems like this is for oil more than any actual substantive drug-related, goal. But just to back up, JD Vance responded to Trump's announcement this morning. Trump said the United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. The operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. He's going to be speaking in about an hour. We'll be covering that on the Adam Mockler channel, so make sure you are subscribed below. Naturally, YouTube won't show you most of the things I post, so if you want to see more of my videos, just subscribe and drop a like below. JD Vance then responds. He says, The president offered multiple off-ramps, but was very clear throughout the process: the drug trafficking must stop, and the stolen oil must be returned to the United States. Maduro is the newest person to find out that President Trump means what he says. Okay, so J.D. Vance is admitting this is partially about oil. It is pretty absurd that we just arrested and captured a foreign leader, brought him back to the United States to be charged, and J.D. Vance is admitting that it's partially about oil. He also says drug trafficking, but again, I do not believe this administration cares about drug trafficking in a substantive way. They use it when it's politically convenient as a pretext to strike ships in the Caribbean Sea. They use it when it's convenient for regime change in Venezuela, but when nobody's looking, Donald Trump is pardoning kingpins. Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, trafficked 500 tons of cocaine to the United States and bragged about it. Trump pardoned him. The rumor is he has a lot of money that he's going to funnel through Trump's crypto coin, Trump coin, and through World Liberty Financial, which is Trump's son's companies. Just pure, blatant corruption. So what leads me to believe that Donald Trump has the best interests of the United States at heart in this scenario? Let's check out what he said moments ago on Fox and Friends. He was asked, was this an illegal strike? It seems like this could have been done illegally because you did not have justification through Congress, which means it's inherently unjustified.
You're already getting reaction from members of Congress on both sides. One Democrat, Jim McGovern, is saying that you did not get authorization from Congress. And he says Trump just launched an unjustified illegal strike on Venezuela. Wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, look, these are weak, stupid people, and they're trying to save themselves from almost destroying our country. If I didn't get elected, our country would not. I don't even think we'd have a country right now. We were heading down the path of destruction.
We wouldn't have a country if Trump weren't elected. We would have a country that's tariff-free. The stock market would be higher. Unemployment would be lower. Trump's tariff regime, number one, has ruined this country. But also, this is not what I want to be hearing from the president who is currently handling a delicate situation. Our president is striking other countries and going live on the air and calling Democrats dumb, stupid, and reckless. He's having an unhinged meltdown, and he wants us to trust him with our lives. I'm sorry, but I do not. Let's continue to listen to the clips, because whether or not we like it, what he's saying here is important. Sometimes I get comments that are like, Adam, why do we even care what Trump says? Who cares? Why do we play these clips? The reality is, this is the president of the United States. After we struck and captured another country's leader, we have to listen to what he's saying.
We had inflation. We had high prices. They're the ones that caused high prices, not us. We're bringing the prices way down. We have oil now, in many places, $1.99 a gallon. And, when you do oil, everything follows, but everything...
Right as I was trying to highlight the importance of the president's words, I click play, and he's just vomiting the dumbest political talking points ever. Donald Trump weakens the importance of the presidency every single day. Donald Trump makes the president's word less and less important by the day. In this clip, Donald Trump gets asked, what do you see to Americans? What do you say to Americans who are just waking up and who are worried about this?
Mr. President, this is clearly a signature moment for your administration, this military strike, the capture of Maduro.
We've had a lot of signature moments, if you really think about it.
Certainly was. Let's add it to the list, one of the signature moments. But what do you say to the people waking up to this news this morning who are concerned that these actions may result in prolonged involvement of U.S. military in Venezuela?
Well, first of all, I say that what we're doing is saving lives, because the drug trafficking is so bad. It's gotten so out of control. And, when you think 97% of the drugs coming in by sea, by ocean, by waterway.
Again, the way Donald Trump speaks about his goals regarding drug trafficking are incongruent with the way that he has acted thus far as the president. I have multiple articles proving this. First of all, Trump pardoned a Baltimore drug trafficker who ran a multi-million-dollar ring. Then we learned that Donald Trump pardoned the former Honduran president who trafficked 500 tons of cocaine into the United States. As this interview goes on, Trump begins to give away the game entirely. MeidasTouch responds, and there it is. There it is. In response to Donald Trump admitting this was for oil, both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have admitted the game. They've given away the game.
The countries that negotiate with Venezuela for that illegal oil are already starting to suffer. What do you see as the future of Venezuela's oil industry?
Well, I see that we're going to be very strongly involved in it. That's all. I mean, what can I say? We have the greatest oil companies in the world, the biggest, the greatest, and we're going to be very much involved in it. We can't do something like this, and we're prepared. You know, we were prepared to do a second wave. We were all set, and this was so lethal, this was so powerful that we didn't have to, but...
Wow, so they were preparing for an even bigger war here. The United States was preparing for an all-out war with Venezuela if this went south, and Trump was just going to accept that. He was just going to eat that for the end goal of oil. Now, this administration has not been clearly communicating their goals this entire time. At first, it was about drugs. Then it was about deterrence and striking boats in the Caribbean Sea. Then it was about Maduro. But now, both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have admitted it. Remember, J.D. Vance said the stolen oil must be returned to the United States. This is after we stole and captured multiple oil tankers off the Venezuelan coast and put a no-fly zone above Venezuela. Now Donald Trump is saying, live on air, they were willing to go to war even further, just an all-out war, and that this is for oil, that we are going to be very, very strongly involved, quote, strongly involved in the oil reconstruction of Venezuela, I suppose. Again, Republicans get into power, they do the same thing every time. Cut taxes for the rich, they cut benefits for the vulnerable, and then they go to war for oil. If it's Trump, throw in a little bit of election denialism and fascism and narcissism, but every single Republican administration is basically the same. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to be covering this all day, so make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. I'll see you later. Peace out.